himself forward, smashing through the glass. In a sudden silence, frenzy, the one thing it could do was roar. It had no lungs, but its feet bones without flesh made a bizarre sound as they clanked against the mosaic floor. It was changing, its mouth gaping, its black teeth snapping at the air, its tail thrashed, it scattering the fragments of what had once been its own. The practical divided for a fifth time, its pointed beak aimed at Matt's head. With a cry, he threw himself onto the floor, then rolled over and over again, avoiding the crocodile. The creature that had accreted towards him, its jaws snapping. How could it even see Matt? Wondered with eye sockets that were completely empty. But it didn't hesitate. It turned round and come at him again. Matt was on his way back in seconds. The creature would be on top of him. Then Richard acted. He had grabbed a chair and holding it like a baseball bat. He swung it. The crocodile, using all his strength. The heavy wood and upholstery slammed into the creature, knocking it off course and causing one side of its rib cage to collapse. It lay on the ground, twitching and rattling, still trying to get back on its feet. Its mouth opened and snapped shut. Its head thrashed from side to side. Move, Richard shouted. A second showcase below itself, apart glass crashed down. One by one, the dinosaur skeletons were coming to life. Bone rattled against marble. Matt got to his feet, wondering how many exhibits there were in the museum and what about the one they had seen when they come in the dialogue? Because even as Matt turned towards the huge creature, he saw the bones began to tremble. And now that it too was coming to life, the Diplodocus was 20 meters long. Its dreadful tail was coiling and uncoiling, animated by whatever energy was flowing through it. One of the legs moved each of the joints, shuddering its head, swirling around, searching for its prey. The door, Richard yelled, then cried out as something crashed into him. It was a giant lizard skeleton, walking on its two hind legs, its arms outstretched. It was made up of at least 100 bones, suspended from a long curving spine, with vicious teeth jutting forward, snapping at his throat. Richard fell backwards, his arm furling. Matt saw the keys leave his hands and arc into the darkness. The lizard leapt into the air. Richard hurried himself sideways. The lizard crushed down. If he had waited one more second, it would have landed on top of him. The door, he screamed the words again. See you can find a way out. The mist was getting thicker and Matt could no longer see from one end of the hall to the other. There were fewer explosions, one after the other, as more exhibit cases were destroyed. From within the half visible shapes appeared, flying, struttling, or crawling towards them. Richard was searching blindly for the keys, but perhaps the doors would open another way. Surely there must be a fire exit or some way out in case of emergencies. Matt ran the full length. Matt ran the full length of the hall and reached the front door, sliding to ilt. He grabbed the handle and pulled the door. Was locked practically. He tried a second door that was locked too. Looking out through the glass, he could see offices and flats across the main road. The traffic was moving as usual, ordinary life, but it could have been 1,000 miles away. Both sets of doors had been locked for the evening. There was emergency lever. They were trapped. Richard Matt called out. There was no sign of the journalist. Stay quiet, Richard's voice come out of the mist. They can't see you. Stay where you are. Don't make a sound. Was it true? Another thing, perhaps. Ignoring them was stumbling towards him, towering over him. Matt froze. The dinosaur skeleton had stopped right in front of him. He could see through its eye sockets, all the way into its skull. Its mouth was open, revealing ugly white triangular teeth. Each one come to a vicious point. It wasn't breathing. It couldn't. But even so, Matt could smell its breath. It stank of sewage and decay. In the far distance, he had the rattling of feet, the rattling of bones. Richard was silent. The dinosaur craned forward to seem to be scenting him, or perhaps sensing the pulse in its neck. Now it was only centimeters away. Matt wanted to run, to scream. He was certain the creature was about to attack. Was he just going to stand while it ripped out his throat? Matt, where are you? Matt, where are you? Are you all right? Richard's voice echoed from the other side of all, and the lizard creature twisted away and lumbered off into the direction. So Richard had been right. The dinosaurs were blind. They needed sound and movement to find their victims. I'm okay, Matt shouted back. He didn't dare add more. Can you get out? No, I needed the keys. The keys were lying on the floor beside the stairs. Richard peeked through the mist and finally saw them and longed for them at the same time. A squirt, solid-looking creature changed towards him, a single arm producing from its misshaped skull. Somewhere in the back of his mind, Richard remembered the creature's name. It was a pterodactyl. Fortunately, it was slower than the others. It was moving clumsily, slipping on the marble floor. Richard snatched up the keys before it could reach him. Overheard a second pterodactyl had joined the first. The two of them were performing a ghostly dance, wheeling over another, eye in the sky. Matt was still by it. Subscribe, but share, like, what's my other videos. Thank you.